All right, today we're checking out the Freego X2 Pro. We got Sully here today. The Freego X2 came out a couple months ago and it looked like a pedal Surron. A few people have been reviewing the original X2. We noticed that the X2 Pro just dropped with some different features, some upgraded features, so we decided to go with that. Full disclosure, bought it with our own money. This was not sent to us, so this is a totally non-biased review.
We're gonna be extra picky about it.
You know, it's kind of expensive. It was like $2,500 for a pedal bike. This was heavy. I mean, you could try lifting that box.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got some weight to it. I would say probably 130, 140 pounds.
Anyway, before we get to all that, let's go to a montage right about now. All right, here we go, the Freego X2 Pro.
The assembly went fairly smooth, no super big issues. The only thing that I did notice when putting it together was that this one bolt was stripped, the tab coming off of the frame, the threads were stripped off of it, so they put a nut on the back of it. But it wasn't tight, it was just finger loose on there, so I just tightened it and we're good. If I wouldn't have noticed that, it probably would have fell off at some point. We'd have been missing a screw there. Everything was like very easy to figure out. There was nothing like super overly complicated about it. Even without the battery in it, the back half of the bike is super heavy, and then once you put the battery in, it evens it out a little, but it's still, I'd say, probably like 70-30 more towards the rear.
On first glance, it looks like a Surron with pedals.
It looks very similar to a Stealth Bomber, but without like the bigger compartment here.
This looks like a Surron seat, just a little bit wider, maybe.
It's got to be close.
That's definitely a Surron fender.
Yeah, Surron fenders, Surron wheels, Surron tires probably.
Surron headlight.
Rear shock, KKE.
And this is a carbon steel frame, I believe. That's what contributes to the weight of the bike. It makes it heavier, but I think they did that, I guess, increase the durability of the bike. So we'll start with the front. These are 19 by 2 inch MTB tires. Got the knobbies on here. Here we have a 203 millimeter rotor, pretty thick rotor. And then we have 4 piston brakes over here. These are sort of the generic e-bike brakes. On the website, it's advertised as like moto grade, but these aren't really moto grade.
So, yeah, they're mineral oil. I looked them up before this. I don't know if these ones specifically are, but the ones that I was looking at on eBay or whatever it was, I think it was Amazon, eBay, whatever, they were mineral oil, and they were either 180 mil, 203 mil discs, and you could get them in 2.3 mil thickness.
Probably something that would be an easy upgrade if we want to change out the brakes, but the rotors are nice. The wheels also come with these red spokes, which is pretty cool. Like I said, the Surron front fender.
The fork could definitely be better. For the price of this bike, you're not gonna get a $800 front fork. So the front wheel axle, it's got a slotted piece here that fits directly into its own channel, so you don't need a secondary tool to tighten this. You just put it in there and then you tighten the one side.
We also have the fork guards over here with the Freego X2 Pro graphics. You have the horn located right there. So it looks like Freego is using a far driver controller with a custom harness to attach all the wiring on the bike. I believe it's tuned with a current line of 80 amps and phase amps at 300. The battery is capable of 90 amps, so we might be able to pump just a little bit more amps into the motor. Up top, we have the MTB style handlebars.
Yeah, very similar handlebars to the Surron. The clamp is exactly the same as like a Surron. Well, the more things that it's used for, the cheaper those parts get for us because they can mass produce them more.
Here we have the light controls. You also have sequential signals.
Yeah, turn signals with sequential LEDs.
That's a nice touch.
On-off switch for the light.
We have your pedal assist and power button, and I think pedal assist only goes up to 3. Now, we also looked at the video to unlock this thing to off-road mode, but I think it's unlocked. We haven't really taken it out to its top speed test yet.
Yeah, we flip-flopped the brakes so that the rear isn't on the right, so it's on the rear is on the left. That's just what we're used to.
With the Freego X2 Pro, I know they changed the display to an M5 display, center mounted, black and white, and I think they were using an NFC display before on the original X2, meaning you had to, put an NFC card to unlock it. But watching some of their videos online, they said that the NFC card was having some issues. which is why they changed it out. One thing that they did change, which was interesting, is they went from a full twist throttle to a half twist throttle. That should be easy to upgrade. Now, in terms of power, we have a 60 volt, 30 amp hour removable battery, and Sully will demonstrate how this thing comes out of the bike.
First, you flip up the lid, turn the bike off. Then you're gonna go, there's a unlock position. You have to push down on the key and twist it the rest of the way. Now it should pull straight up out. And it's got a channel on this side that runs on a slider on the inside here. So very easy to line up and put back in. Just line up that slider. And once you got it lined up, it'll just fall right into place where it's supposed to be. And then push the key down again, spin, and turn it on. And now it's back together, and the key gets hidden away.
You know, cool design, simple, nothing complicated. This is the saddle seat. I believe they made it a little bit lower, supposedly like it's an 1.5 inches lower than the original X2. So this is a rear monoshock. You could probably add a different size if you want it to go lower. And this is a KKE, and you can adjust the, preload, the compression, all that good stuff. And you can upgrade it to something better if you wanted to.
All the suspension should be upgradable to Surron style suspension.
There is no rear fender on the seat like a Surron, but you do have this one right here on the bottom. I think if you ride it through some off-road or some mud, you'll probably get dirty, but you might be able to rig something up over here.
I think it would be easy enough to just pinch any fender you want in there. You just might have to drill the hole for it to actually mount it.
For the drivetrain, it's a single speed chain. That's another big difference from the X2. I think the X2 had the Shimano 7-speed, and this is just a single speed.
It's geared very tall, so when you're trying to take off, it's very hard to pedal. You want to use a little bit of throttle to take off. But once you're moving and you're going, 20, 30 mile an hour, you're still able to pedal without feeling like you're just chasing it, trying to catch up, which a lot of the other bikes are like that. So it's geared well for top end, but not so much for low end. But you can't have both with a single speed.
Yeah, that's the compromise. And the steel frame obviously makes it heavier. Personally, I like the single speed. Sometimes having a derailleur, it comes loose, and then just like more maintenance. Finally, we have the rear hub motor, which is 3,000 watt rated and 6,000 watt peak. And this is what reminds me of a stealth bomber, like you said.
The stealth bombers, they come in a variety of different ones pre-built. I believe 2,000, 3,000, so on and so forth, 6,000, 8,000, whatever. But they're mostly meant for you to build it with your own hub motor that you choose.
6,000 watt peak for something like this seems like more than enough, 60 volts.
Yeah, so a stock Surron, I believe, is 5,000 watt or 5,500 watt, depending on the year that you have. I mean, it's very comparable to a factory Surron.
Another change I think that they did was somewhere over here, I guess, with the axle. So the design is more like I think what they call it is a hook design with these torque arms. It just makes it more reinforced, so the wheel doesn't spin off the swing arm. Hopefully that didn't happen to people who bought the X2, but that seems like something that should have been done on the first version. Kickstand is good, feels like it's a good height.
Yeah, you get a lot of bikes where they're either too tall or too short, where you go to sit on them like this and then they tip over on you. This one's good, doesn't tip over on you, and then the other ones are like way leaned over like that. It's a very simple thing, but it's a very hard thing for companies to get right, apparently.
I think the big reason they made the X2 Pro is because they wanted it to be quote unquote street legal. So it's a class 3 electric bike because it only goes 28 miles per hour without unlocking it, and you do get the pedal assist. So I think the original didn't actually have pedal assist. It had a Shimano shifter, but it had no pedal assist. I'm not quite sure how that worked or if that was even comfortable or made any sense. So technically it is street legal, but that's going to be different depending on where you live.
With some like very, very, very minor upgrades, I mean, it would be a great bike for, someone who maybe doesn't have enough money for like one of the top of the end bikes.
Yeah, let's give it a shot, see how it feels.
The Freego X2 Pro features a high-strength steel frame, which is ideal for durability. On first glance, it looks like a combination of a Surron and a stealth bomber, and the bike's total weight is about 140 pounds, which is common for high-performance e-bikes. The X2 Pro is equipped with a 3,000 watt rated, 6,000 watt peak rear hub motor, and controlled by an 80 amp far driver controller. It also has a smooth and natural pedal assist with single-speed gearing. The tune of the pedal assist seems to mimic a torque sensor and really enhances the riding experience. It's also advertised as having a top speed of 50 miles per hour in off-road mode, but our real-world tests were much less than that, which we'll get into later. For power, the X2 Pro features a UL-certified 60-volt, 30-amp-hour removable battery with a range of up to 56 miles, depending on power level, rider weight, and terrain. Whether it's off-road riding or cruising city streets, the X2 Pro can handle it easily. The full suspension system is a highlight, providing a ride that's extremely comfortable across various terrain. It features 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes with 203mm rotors for dependable stopping power. However, the quality of these brakes and their performance could be improved considering the bike's total weight and powerful motor.
Okay, first ride with the Freego X2 Pro, 5'5". This will probably be ideal for riders over 5'7". I think you'll be able to flat foot it. Still, not too bad for me. And I could change the shock out if I want it just a little bit lower. With the little sag right now, feels pretty comfortable. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it on pedal assist level 3. Get right into it. Okay, no throttle. We'll just do pedal assist. My knees are coming up a little bit higher than I thought it would. Kind of interesting geometry. Or now I feel like tall on the bike because my legs are going up higher than I had imagined. So yeah, if you're a taller rider, I could see you like knocking your knees, like kind of getting a little too close to the bars. I see what you mean, how it does feel very heavy with the pedal assist not kicking in like immediately. It's a very gradual thing. Even at pedal assist level 3, it's working. But it's a very different type of pedal assist. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna give it a little throttle now. Okay, smooth delivery, smooth power output, very quiet. This hub motor is super quiet. Very easy to control. Yeah, I mean, it handles like a Surron with pedals. I mean, I had the Kaniwaba pedal kit a couple years ago, but obviously the one I had was not hooked up to the drivetrain at all. It didn't control the chain, so it was it had no resistance, right? It was just for looks. This, you have resistance, and then you can kind of like move your feet and maneuver it depending on, you know, how you're riding. Right now I just have it like leveled out, so that feels pretty good. Yeah, the tune is not bad. You know, I wish there was a way to control the tune. Maybe there is a way to go into the controller, but for just like the average rider, I think this is fine. Let's take it on some grass here. Okay, suspension. Suspension feels good. Yeah, not bad. That's actually really, really smooth. And we didn't really dial in the suspension yet, so yeah, that felt really good. Sets out the brakes here. Oh no. The brakes definitely need an upgrade. I mean, I squeezed it all the way down till I hit my knuckles and it was still like, didn't really stop me. Yeah, the brakes could use some work for sure. I can't do my little feet draggy cheat code. I gotta like actually balance. Oh well, Sully will demonstrate. But just as like a, you know, as a commuter vehicle, this is pretty cool. I don't know what else I could say about it, so let's just kick it off to Sully and see what he does.
Let's check it out, see what it's all about. So it does have the like quick adjustable dials here for the brakes, but the rear brake is already completely maxed out. The front brake has some more to go, but it's good. It's firm enough. They just don't really have enough pressure to actually like stop the bike really good, but they work good enough for like commuting reasons. Wheelies definitely a little lackluster. Bike's really smooth. The hub motor is super quiet. The tires have a lot of air in them, but that's fine. Everything on the bike feels like really solid. That being said, it's all very heavy. The pedal assist works. Like the pedal assist is I'm accelerating, but it's so gradual and smooth until you get to about like 11 miles an hour. It starts to kick in a little bit more, up until about 25 mile an hour, and then it starts to plateau again. But yeah, it's definitely wheelieable. The seat is extremely slippery. Like, you are sliding all over the place on this thing. I know that my jacket doesn't help, but I mean, even my pants, they normally grip up pretty good on like stock Surron material. This is like more of a pleathery material, so it's definitely a little bit more slippery. But very wheeliable. It just could use way better brakes. Like, I am like having to squeeze it pretty hard to, like, that was me squeezing it all the way to my knuckle, and it didn't even lock up the rear tire, which is not what you want for stunting. But it does wheelie, and this is fresh out the box. Nothing done to it, no mods. That was all the brake that she had right there, so I'm gonna stop that before I loop it. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, super solid bike. It's got pretty cushy front shocks. How long they last, I guess that's to be determined. All the dials for the suspension are completely maxed out from when you get it. I didn't touch any of these. This was maxed out already. And when I did this, these were both the compression and the rebound were all maxed out as well. Very cushy with the suspension, didn't bottom out. I mean, it's doing everything you can ask it to do. I want to try more stunts on it, but I need a better brake first. Once we replace this rear brake with like an MT5 or something comparable or better, we're gonna try swapping out pads first before we buy a whole new brake. Maybe it's just the stock pads that come with it aren't very good. I feel like it would definitely improve the wheelie ability of the bike. But overall, rideability is great.
All right, guys, so yeah, let's talk about the Freego X2 Pro. We're gonna do a top speed run. It is very cold right now in Michigan. It's about 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Feels like 15 degrees. And yeah, very, very cold. Not sure how long I can ride today. Like you saw with our first ride in the basketball court, this bike is super smooth and comfortable. I'm riding over some of these potholes and cracks in the road, and no issues whatsoever. This thing is planted, comfortable, saddle is comfortable, and it's so quiet with this hub motor. Super quiet. It is cold. It is really, really cold out here. Yeah, this bike is really, really nice. All right, I think we can do a little run here. All right, throttle down, full pedal, power level 3, and hitting 30 miles per hour, 31 on the speedometer, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, holding at 38, not going past 38, 39, holding at 38 again, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Woo! It is cold. 43 miles per hour top speed, and that was with a little bit of a downhill. So I think it was like 38 miles per hour on the flat, fully pinned, off-road mode. We're gonna pull over because it's freaking cold. Holy cow. Okay. All right, guys. So hit about 42 miles per hour. Going on a little bit of a downhill. I would say it was like 38 miles per hour on like flat. So not sure what's going on. I know this is advertised as 50 plus miles per hour. So definitely a discrepancy in the top speed. But it was, you know, for something that's 60 volts with a pretty good amount of off-the-line power, it's not bad, honestly. So, okay, let's take it out for maybe like a little parking lot ride. We could get there. I'm just really loving how comfortable, how quiet, how smooth this thing is. It really is like if you made a Surron a pedal bike, but like you optimize it. It's not just like throwing pedals on a Surron, right? Like if you actually optimize a Surron to perform like a pedal bike, this is what the Freego X2 Pro feels like. And okay, no throttle, I'm just pedaling right now. And 31 miles per hour, 33 going up this incline here, 35. Just pedal, that's no throttle, using just my legs. I really, really like the throttle tune on this thing. And like I mentioned, this is using a far driver controller, so this can be tuned up. We'll see if that actually introduces like more top speed into the bike. Anyway, take it over here to the parking lot. It's a little bit icy over here, so gotta watch that. Try not to slip out. And because it's really cold, that means that the battery is not going to be performing that well. I can already see that. A big battery dip so far with just that little speed run over there. So this parking lot is a little bit jacked up. So that's actually good for testing out the suspension, which is performing pretty good. Yeah, like I said, really smooth. There's some icy patches here, so I gotta watch out. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, this would be a really good commuter that is quote unquote street legal. You know, that's gonna sort of depend on where you live, but it is advertised as a class 3 e-bike that's street legal. So something to consider if you're looking for kind of like a Surron style e-bike with pedals. It's the best way I can describe it, to be honest. Now I'm just using pedal assist, and it is performing well. Lots of potholes, a lot of icy patches. But this is pretty ideal for testing a bike like this with the knobby tires. Feels very comfortable. Give it a little throttle here. Yeah, I can't get over how comfortable this bike is. I mean, it feels like a Surron, it really does, but like just a little bit lighter, right, obviously, and a little bit more maneuverable. We could try going up this hill here, see how it handles it. Full power up the hill, and no problem. Now I am on the grass with a lot of snow and ice, and it is doing its thing. It is performing very, very well in this rough terrain. So yeah, if you want to get this thing as an off-road bike, I think you will be absolutely pleased with how it performs. Yeah, this thing is super fun. Let's try to take it downhill here. Be a little bit careful because it is icy and a little bit steep. Whew. Hop off the curb, no problem. Yeah, this thing performs very, very well, especially in this cold. You know, the battery is performing good. I don't notice too much voltage sag, so that's a good sign. Woo! All right, I think that'll do it for our test here.
here's what we like. The X2 Pro has an outstanding full suspension system that's comfortable on various terrain. It has a smooth and natural pedal assist sensor and tune, and the rear hub motor combines power, low noise, and less maintenance needs. But here's some things to consider. Despite the high top speed, the X2 Pro doesn't reach the advertised 50 miles per hour. The half-twist throttle could be swapped for a full twist to better suit the bike's powerful nature, and the 4-piston brakes are decent but lack the expected quality and feel for such a high-performance e-bike. Overall, the Freego X2 Pro is a decent contender in the high-performance e-bike market, especially for those who favor the power and feel of a Surron but prefer pedals and a street-legal ride. While it has its shortcomings, like the limited top speed and brake quality, its strengths in power, range, and comfort make it a compelling option for serious riders looking for a bike that can handle both urban environments and rugged trails. So what do you think of the Freego X2 Pro? Is it the power-packed street-legal ride you've been looking for, or do you want more? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.